We have an update on a story we brought you last summer about a Cambridge woman who says the home she's been renting has mold in it, so much that her family can't live there. As CTV's Heather Centerin tells us, months later, she still hasn't been able to move back in. And while the city's stepped in to try to help, the problems persist.
It's been almost a year since Lindsay McCarthy signed the lease for this Cambridge home for herself and her 3 daughters, but she hasn't been able to live in it. After an environmental assessment confirmed, there's mold throughout the home.
Nobody ever expects that they're going to move into a home and have to not even get to live in it and, be afraid of homelessness.
This was the garage in August 2024. The mold visible.
All the while, me and my children are suffering being displaced. My dogs are suffering being in a kennel, being boarded.
For now, she's living with family, but it's uncomfortably tight. And she says in spite of efforts to address the mold problem, it isn't going away. These were some of the rooms today.
And this is all new mold.
I think they should just literally knock this entire house down to the ground. There's not a room in here that has not been affected by mold in some way, shape, or form.
McCarthy had a landlord and tenant board hearing in October. She still pays utility bills and wants to be compensated for the rent she paid previously and her storage costs.
Everything was put into storage, and now we're awaiting our next hearing date, which will be February. I'm hoping that we're able to recover all of the rent that I've paid, all of these moving costs as well.
The landlord had been using a property management team, Royal York Property Management, last year, but that company says they're no longer representing him.
I desperately want this to be over. I'd like to move on. I want to be able to move into a clean home, a home where I can finally have some peace.
The landlord told CTV News today he will not comment until after the next hearing. As for the work to address the mold, McCarthy says a company called PuroClean has been hired by the city of Cambridge. City staff saying in a statement, in part, in cases where a property owner fails to undertake the required work by the deadline set in an order, the city will hire a contractor to do the necessary work to bring the property into compliance. In this case, the city is currently in the process of ensuring that order is compiled. The city also said they continue to be in contact with the tenant and property owner, but cannot comment on an open investigation. The next landlord and tenant board hearing is set for February 21st. Heather Centerin, CTV News, Cambridge.
And new live at 5, a Jefferson County couple with a cautionary tale they're sharing with all of us. This family forced to move out of their home after finding toxic black mold growing inside.
Your reporter Jillian Brooks is live at 5 with us in studio to share their warning to you and how they discovered all this. Jillian?
Kendall and Stephen Early are now paying a mortgage on a home that they can't even live in after years of unexplained health complications. A social media video is what prompted them to have their home tested for mold. We do want to disclose that the Earlys are related to a staff member here at WBRC. Kendall and Stephen Early purchased their home in Hoover in 2022.
This is like our ideal neighborhood. We love our neighbors. We loved the house until we figured out it was making us sick.
Their daughter, who was younger than 2 at the time, developed a cough within the first month. Shortly after, Stephen developed adult asthma. Then Kendall started showing stroke-like symptoms, but nothing was explaining why.
I got to the point where I was like feeling drunk in the house and bumping into walls and having trouble walking. I was being tested I started having seizures. I was being tested for epilepsy and MS, but when that was happening, mold was still not on our minds.
The Earlys say the home had no musty-like smell that mold typically puts off, and there was no mold visible. But after seeing a TikTok of a woman who had similar health issues, decided to test for mold that came back 500 times above normal.
It's in the walls, it's in the decking of the roof, it's in the subfloor, it's in our crawl space, it's in the HVAC. It's pretty much hidden everywhere that it could be hidden.
The Earlys left the house immediately. Mold is not covered by insurance, and paying to have the house cleaned or restored is close to 6 figures. Everything inside the home, a total loss.
Yeah, the 6 figures is just to get the house back livable, and then we have to replace everything in it. Clothes, furniture.
Kendall says no one should have to live through this nightmare.
If you're having unexplained symptoms, chronic illness. If there is no obvious explanation for you being sick or someone in your family being sick, please test your home for mold because you won't always see it.
Now, according to the CDC, there are no set standards for what is and what is not an acceptable quantity of different kinds of mold in a home, and experts say testing can be expensive. Since moving out, the Earlys say their health has improved significantly. A loved one started a GoFundMe for the couple that has so far raised $20,000. Jonathan.
I'm Jill Lampkins, your Northwest Omaha reporter near 150th and West Maple. On Thursday, we got a call from neighbor Robin Kovacs seeking our help. She tells me things are falling apart at her 80-year-old mom's apartment and they're unsure of how to move forward.
This is Robin Kovacs, and this apartment complex we're walking into is called Steeplechase on Maple. Robin's mom, Jean Rushy, has been living here for over 6 years. During that time, she's had a complaint or two.
She's always calling them for the sink plugged, the water leaking in my dad's bathroom, the water leaking upstairs in this bathroom from a bathtub overflowing.
And while Robin tells me maintenance has fixed things, she says it's always seemed more like a Band-Aid.
They fixed the ceiling, put drywall over that, and just left it. They put drywall, cut out the wall, and put a piece of drywall in there, too.
While things weren't necessarily great, it had become her mom's home. And then, on January 6th, Jean gets a letter from her property manager stating that her lease will not be renewed due to the failure to comply with the no smoking addendum. She has to move out by March 5th. Her daughter Robin claims her mom hasn't been smoking in her apartment and believes the smell lingering is from something else.
She started sneezing all the time. Her nose was running all the time.
That's when another family member suggested they get the city inspectors involved. After an official inspection by the city of Omaha on January 27th, 10 violations were revealed, a majority suspected to be mold. That's when the family paid to have an independent company come out and test for mold. They were able to confirm mold in 2 places and recommended no one occupies the apartment until remediation occurs. The city of Omaha superintendent of permits and inspections tells me they sent a notice to the property manager and given them 30 days to address the violations. The deadline, March 2nd. I reached out to Steeplechase, who provided a statement saying they were not made aware of the tenant's repairs needs until today, and that their team is taking immediate action to address the concerns. Robin says in the end, her mom is being forced to find a new place to live, but she's worried everything her mom owns is now contaminated with mold.
So next steps?
I have contacted some lawyers to find out what we can do because basically I think they're going to have to replace all this. She doesn't have any clothes. She doesn't have anything.
In Northwest Omaha, I'm Jill Lampkins.
Tonight, we're listening to several Northwest suburban families who say their children's school is making them sick.
They took their concerns to district leaders in Buffalo Grove and shared their story with our Marissa Sulik tonight.
Isaac Lee and Scarlett Straszewski both attended Woodlawn Middle School in Long Grove over the last 6 years. Their parents say they both had to leave because each day they would come home physically ill.
I would get headaches, fatigue, muscle spasms.
Dizzy, not feeling well, headache.
Patrick Lee says Isaac's symptoms got so intense he was put in a wheelchair after he became paralyzed and lost the ability to speak. Both Isaac and Scarlett tested positive for the same poisonous molds, which their parents collected themselves.
Those symptoms align with, they're on the EPA's website under sick building syndrome.
We just asked for a transfer. We thought that would be the least confrontational way. And what we didn't expect is for the school to push back so much. They spent $31,000 blocking a simple transfer.
I spent the past year fighting for something that should have never been up for debate.
A year after her first symptoms, Scarlett spoke at the Killdeer Countryside School District 96 Board of Education meeting Tuesday night. District 96 says they have done their own mold tests, which are on their website and add the toxicity levels are safe. They sent CBS Chicago a statement that reads in part, "We believe these claims to be unfounded on the basis of thorough testing performed by independent, internationally recognized third-party professionals." But for Scarlett Straszewski, her family wants to see more action from the district so other kids don't experience similar issues.
It's not fair to other kids who have to worry about their health over education.
Scarlett has since transferred to a private school in the area. Isaac is now at Stevenson High School, and both their families say they no longer have the symptoms they had at Woodlawn.
In Buffalo Grove, Marissa Sulik, CBS News, Chicago.